Well, today is Wednesday, April 22nd, 2026. There's a book called No Clue: White American Affirmative Action Exists and Demands a Moral Revival Now, which means that if you are, especially a white, rich male, you get a pass, right? There's affirmative action for you. Things overlooked. Can you imagine this happening to President Obama?
In just the last few hours, there's been a major shakeup in the U.S. Department of Defense. The Secretary of the Navy, John Phelan, is leaving the Trump administration effective immediately, according to a statement from a Pentagon spokesperson. Phelan is the second high-ranking U.S. military official to leave his role this month after the Army Chief of Staff was asked to step down a few weeks ago. Let's bring in our White House reporter, Bernd Debusman, for more on this. Bernd, do we know what's behind this decision?
So, again, this is what? White American affirmative action, right? In other words, the question's not asked. Okay, like would be if it was President Obama. That's racism when it happens to President Obama, right? But you don't get the question, right? That's white American affirmative action. Protecting, okay, white males who have money. The question should be asked, period. What's going on? We the people. This is our country.
There was no official reason given by the Pentagon statement earlier, but U.S. media has reported that Secretary Phelan had kind of a very tense relationship with the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, over many months now, both over personnel issues in the Navy and the Marine Corps, which he also oversaw, but also in terms of where he was going with the Navy. He was a big proponent of what Trump has called his Golden Fleet, which is essentially a fleet of large battleships, Trump-class battleships, he's called them, and other large vessels, whereas the Pentagon, in another respect, has kind of aimed to develop more its unmanned capabilities, its submarine fleet. So there was kind of a divergence of opinion there. At the same time, this is very much a surprise, the timing here in Washington. John Phelan was someone who was seen as very close to President Trump personally. He was a very significant donor during Trump's presidential campaign. And as recently as December, he was with Trump in Mar-a-Lago when he unveiled the Trump-class battleships. But the timing also does raise some questions here in Washington, even though it's an administrative role rather than an operational role. For the Secretary of the Navy to be dismissed with no reason given at a time when the Navy and the Marine Corps are so committed to the conflict with Iran, in addition to the conflict against drug trafficking vessels in this hemisphere, is certainly raising some questions. And there's already been quite a lot of criticism from Democratic lawmakers.
Yeah, Bernd, thanks for getting.
What would happen if it had been President Obama? We know he couldn't wear a tan suit, right? Without them having a, well, you know.
Us across those details. Bernd Debusman there, White House reporter.
Just raising the issue so you understand, okay, that there is white American affirmative action which overlooks what people who have white skin privilege do, as opposed to those who are people of color. And it's reality. And by the way, the reason why white Americans, too many of them, vote against their own self-interest is the R word, racism. It's called the Southern Strategy. Look it up. If the Democrats are ever to win, they must deal with that. How do you deal with it? Simply this. There's one race, the human race, for all human. And everyone has a right to life, liberty, sweet happiness. Everyone, everywhere, every place. Very simple. It's agape love. Let all boats rise. For life, liberty, sweet happiness, for all people, everywhere. Not only in America, but throughout the entire world. God bless you. God keep you.